Hello everyone, this is part 7, and apparently my story is quite long, so I will have to talk quite fast. So, last time I told you about how Mikan's aunt basically tried to sabotage the team, the match between Inazuma Japan and Japan's national senior team. Yeah, so what happens is they're both short a bunch of players, and they will need one extra to be allowed to play. But the Inazuma Japan team, that is short one player. So Endo decides that since he'd seen Mikan secretly play soccer, he's going to ask her, but he doesn't know that. Well, he's keeping the secret, so he calls her U10, of course. Mikan declines, saying that her mother won't agree, so Endo takes Kido, and the two go to her mother and talk the woman into letting her child play soccer. The mother even comes to the match. However, this brings new troubles for Lu10, as a reunion between her mother and father results in her mother having another episode and no longer recognizing her child. She starts asking people if they've seen the child, and when the coaches of the Inazuma Japan team tell her that her son is right there on the field, she claims that she's looking for the other child, and they realize that she's begun to slowly remember Mikan, but isn't there yet. And they also at some point have learned that it's Elena, Mayrin's sister, who has been poisoning her, who's been giving her drugs, to keep her in a vulnerable mind state where she would not remember Sanjiro or Lu10. Mikan, she merely had to suggest things like that Sanjiro had left because he hated her, and in this way she tried to put an end to the marriage between Sanjiro and Mayrin, because Elena wants Sanjiro for herself, but she can't have him, and she's upset about that and jealous. Anyway, Sanjiro tries his best to keep away from his wife after the episode, but is surprised to see that his son is alive. Then, after a while, begins to realize that it's not Lu10 but Mikan. He's overjoyed to see her, but Mikan pushes him away and yells at him that she was 3 when he left, so yeah, she has very vague memories of him leaving after an argument and doesn't remember why he left. And so yeah, there's the match and things happen. They play soccer. Obviously, the world's best team, the Inazuma. Yeah, so obviously, Japan's national senior team is not called the world's best for nothing, and they have in the first match 20 goals already, whereas Inazuma Japan has none. And Mikan does a little pep talk about how because everyone is down and Mamoru can give one, and she tells them about how Inazuma Japan, of the national team of Japan, the senior team, is called the world's best because in the last 12 years no one was able, to beat these players at their respective skill. And Fubuki and Kido and Kabayama and Kogure respectively managed to get past or stop these players, which are all small victories because no one could do that before. So it doesn't matter if the world's best team gets like 100 goals, as long as they get one, they'll have beaten the unbeatable team. And this makes Endo cheer up and give his famous "Let's have fun" speech that the series loves to throw at us. Anyway, second half shows a significant turnaround, and Inazuma Japan begins to play as they used to, having a lot of fun. And they play differently, and this obviously means that they are able to score a goal, and at the moment they scored the first goal, Luten was the one who managed to get it in. Falls and doesn't get back up. Turns out she has a medical condition where her heart is bad and she shouldn't actually ever do any exerting sports really, and that's why her mother was greatly against it, and also because Luten, who's actually dead, had a muscle disease and would have loss of feeling in his legs and arms. Yeah, so Mikan is brought to the hospital, and Sanjuro and Mayrin go with their child, and at the hospital Mayrin begins to remember who Sanjuro is, and Sanjuro explains that he never meant to leave and why he made the choice he made, and they sort of patch up a little. This happens to fix the last of Mayrin's memory problems. The only problem that isn't fixed is which child is alive. They actually wait for the surgery to be over. On the field, the team leader of the Japan national team seniors asks if they should postpone the match. Inazuma Japan is against it, saying that Mikan would have wanted them to keep playing, and Sanjuro would have too. The match ends with a 35 to 12 point loss for Inazuma Japan. Some time then passes in the story, and the friends match up against the seniors again in a friendly match. Inazuma Japan gets together for a friendly match with the seniors, who are back in Inazuma Town for the week to hold an exhibition match against another team from a nearby town, a senior team. The match is about to start. A friendly match, that is, against Inazuma Japan. When Kido, Fudo, and Sakuma arrive at the field, and Sakuma is another character from the series, so is Fudo. And the three then talk about, then ask their team members if they're going to start without them. Everyone is happy to see them, obviously, and then there is one more surprise. Out from behind the three steps a blonde-haired girl. This is Mikan, obviously. The other members of the team don't realize that it's actually who they called Luten, and Fudo, who in the series is also like that, makes a comment that they're pretty stupid if they don't realize it's Luten. Obviously some explaining is done, and the others are pretty surprised to find that Luten was actually a girl, and her actual name is Mikan, and they're so surprised, more so surprised that she and Kido are now dating, because everyone apparently, the ones actually that did know or began to realize that Luten was probably not all she looked to be, namely two of the girls actually knew, and the girls, they comment on it that they thought that Fudo had a crush on her, and Fudo says that he just was friends with her, and that they had things in common, and that he actually has a crush on another girl and wanted her advice on how to approach that girl, because he wasn't entirely sure that her brother would let him date her. And of course everyone realized that they're talking about what's her name, Kino, I think. Here she is. No, Haruna, Otonashi Haruna, who is the sister of Kido Fudo, Kido, Yuta Kido. Yuta or Yuto? Yuto Kido. So yeah, that's basically where it ends, and that's basically the story idea I had, and whoa, I made it in 10 minutes. Whoop, new record. Would you believe I actually had to do this 3 times because I went over the limit just trying to relay the story? So yeah, that's basically one of the ideas I came up with, and it started out as just this idea that I had this character who was pretending to be her brother and who loved soccer, and yeah, I began the story with she's pretending to be her brother, obviously, and her mother won't let her play soccer for obvious reasons that I just mentioned. And I already knew at the end I wanted it to become clear that she was a girl pretending to be her brother. Family issues are resolved, and Mikan is allowed to play soccer if she takes it easy. So I had to start with the beginning. So I asked myself, she's playing her brother, what would have happened with the brother? So I came to the obvious and most used cliche in this entire canon series, the car crash. So I figured, what could cause a then 5-year-old child to end up in a car crash without the parents being there? So then I decided, well, one reason could be that he snuck out. But why would he need to sneak out? So then I figured, well, what if the mother is upset about the father leaving her over something and forbade her children to play soccer? So I came up with the plot that the father left to play soccer and chose soccer over his family, and so the mother forbade her children to play soccer. The children think she forbade them because their father left, and the mother actually forbade them to play soccer because both children had a condition. I came up with the condition nearly at the end of thinking up this entire idea, actually. So yeah, because I was like, okay, so he snuck off, got in a car accident. How would that happen? Did he not see the car? And I felt that would be a bit cliche, and then I thought, what if he was unable to get up? What if he actually had a condition that would prevent him from getting up when he fell down and end up getting hit by a car? So yeah, that's how that got to be. That's when I started asking myself questions, like, do I want Mikan to just pretend to be her brother, or do I want Mikan to be her brother in that she actually completely looks like him and not just pretends to act like him? I decided I wanted to take place after the guys graduated from middle school, so she would be older then, and she would probably have boobies, obviously. So I figured the best idea would be to have her completely pretend to be her brother, put bandages around her chest to make her seem more boyish. She had her small size to her advantage because it didn't make her stand out all as much as a girl, and the fact that they were identical twins helped a lot. All she had to do was keep her hair short and she would be a perfect copy of her brother. So then I started thinking, would she be happy like that? Well, obviously no, because she's pretending to be someone she's not. So then I had to decide, what do I want the story to focus on most? Do I want it to focus on the fact that the aunt, the evil woman in this story, is drugging her mother to keep her from being with the father because she's jealous? Or do I want the story to focus more on Mikan's struggle in trying to pretend to be her brother? I decided on the latter because Inazuma Japan focuses more on the children, and have the plot with the parents be a subplot. Sometimes I also have characters before I have a story for them to go in. And that's when I start asking questions. Okay, I have this character, where is she now? And I start thinking of where she is now, what she is like now, what things does she like now, and then I start thinking, what do I want this character to become? And that's the process I'm going to tell you in part 8, for which I need to grab another one of my, sorry, that was my PowerPoint, yes, save that, stories, which is called Brother Among the Stars, and this one is very detailed, so there probably will go 2 of these episodes more over it. See you next time.